Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a couple investigations into this BMW N20 turbocharged engine. It seems to be burning a bit of oil, and when I say a bit, it's about 1,000 kilometers to 1 quart, so substantial amount of oil. And it sort of comes and goes. Sometimes you'll get 2,000 kilometers out of it, sometimes 1,000. So we found a leak last year around the valve cover, and we changed the gasket and put a new aluminum valve cover on and a new PCV valve, and improved things a little bit, but not as much as we expected. So today we're going to do an inspection of the intake manifold and see if it needs any walnut blasting. And we're going to do a piston soak with Gumout Tune-Up solvent in all the cylinders. We're going to fill them up, leave it overnight, turn the crank a little bit, and see if we can get any of the carbon in there to break loose and free. And then we're going to suck it out with an extractor. So we did the plugs about 20,000 kilometers ago with the NGK iridiums, and we wanted to pull those out and see if there was any issues with those. Likely not. I think we have a video coming up to show that. It's just unremarkable. Have a look at the plugs here. Look just as good as they went in new. So here's some stills. So a couple hours later, we're into the job. We can see that the inlets in the input duct and also the valves themselves are not particularly bad. Not as bad as some of the videos we've seen on YouTube. Some of these input ducts in the input manifold are not 80% blocked up with an engine that is considerably less worn. So this engine has 104,000 kilometers on it, and we didn't want to waste any money. Doing a walnut blast at this point wouldn't be really efficient or cost effective. So we wanted to take some pictures while it was apart, because we did have to spend the money and the time to get it apart. However, you can see it's pretty darn clean in there and not what we expected to see. But we can go ahead and move on to some other photos here. The valves themselves don't look. The stems have a bit of buildup, but we're going to take some photos of inside the cylinders and upshots of the intake and output exhaust valves, as well as some other photos here. So here's the before pictures of the condition of the top of the pistons. Before we do the cleaning, we wanted to do some before pictures. There's quite a bit of carbon, and I mean, this stuff's not going to go away if you're using products like Valvoline Restore and Protect. There's no way that this is going to get cleaned in a DI engine on its own. There's absolutely possibility of it getting worse because the oil is actually combusting inside the cylinder. We're seeing like accumulation here from fuel and oil being burnt off and then spent, and then it sits along these areas. And this is common to DI engines, especially the newer engines, because we're seeing a lot of this in modern engines that require a walnut blast after a period of time to remove carbon around the valve seats and the valve inlets. There's just no way to clean them like in the old engines where they had fuel spraying on the valves. So this is a big chunk of carbon we found in, I think it was cylinder 4, and we wanted to kind of look at it a little bit closer in more detail. In high definition endoscope images were pulled, and we moved them to the computer and tried to zoom them up a bit just to see if we could find anything. There's some scoring in the cylinder, very minimal in most of the cylinders. There was some what looks like carbon scoring. And if you've seen that before, it's usually an indicator that the carbon ring has packed around the rings like almost like diamond hard, especially around the oil control ring. And that can get so hard and create little scores in the cylinder, which allow oil to then flow through. So you have like a little bit of weeping on the cylinder walls of oil, and if oil gets in there and it combusts, it's going to create carbon and probably other byproducts where you don't want it. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where you have a lot of oil burning as a byproduct of combustion. Plus you can't clean it well because it's a DI engine. Direct injection is notoriously dirty. There's a lot of accumulation with that method of delivering fuel into the cylinder. But you can kind of see some valves, and they're in good shape for the most part. They're just dirty around some of the seals and on tops of them. Some pitting we saw, and it's kind of hard to actually get really close photos when you're inside the cylinder. Sometimes it's just the camera doesn't want to cooperate, and you have to try really, really hard. We spent about an hour trying to capture these, and then we still got blurry ones. So it's kind of tricky working with the borescope and the zooms and manipulating it inside the cylinder. Being careful not to drop anything in there that's not supposed to be in there. Though, we did find only in one or two cylinders, there was more crud than in the other two cylinders. So, this one wasn't so bad in the middle, but on the outskirts it seems a little more worse than it should be. And there's like weeping oil around there. But we were looking for cracks too. When you do this type of analysis, you're looking for damage within the cylinder walls. You're looking for damage around the valve. Some people are seeing holes in their exhaust port or exhaust output valve. You're looking for cracks. You're looking for oil weeping where it shouldn't be. And in an old engine like this that's probably had a bit of abuse in its younger days, you're going to see some scoring. And if the carbon gets bad enough, you're going to see it's not going to be easy to get rid of the oil burning problem, especially if it's been ragged out by other people. So when you buy the car, you will not notice this unless you go into an in-depth analysis. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content, like and subscribe and follow me, because I'm going to be posting another video on the after shots to see if we can do any cleaning whatsoever with solvent. Also, for the record, we ran a can of Gumout Multi-System Tune-Up with the PEA additive, an additive that is proven to clean in lab tests, and it did not clean up nearly as well as we expected. So we're going to try Techron or Redline SL1 next. Thanks for watching.